Hi there, I'm Vincent Bos, and I'm a life coach, relationship coach, and breakup coach. And in today's podcast, we're going to be discussing dealing with a partner addicted to their phone. I provide audio coaching for saving a crumbling relationship, trying to get an ex back, attracting someone new, and life coaching. Visit www.dateme.tips for more details. Please check your spam and junk folders if you are expecting an email from me. Check out my socials for extra content. The links are in the description. So now let's get back into today's podcast. And today we are discussing dealing with a partner addicted to their phone. So if you feel that your partner is on their phone too much, it can feel very frustrating. In today's podcast, I'll be discussing 3 pieces of advice for dealing with a partner addicted to their phone. So let's get straight into this, and point number 1 is understanding the root cause. So if you feel that your partner is on their phone too much, you first of all need to understand, why are they doing this? What is the root cause? Now the likelihood is there will be more than one reason, although there probably is a main reason. So here are suggestions of the main possible reasons that your partner may be using their phone often. The first of which is work demands. We live in a modern world where it can be very difficult to quote-unquote switch off between work and personal life. In particular, if you work from home, your phone could be very, very important to you for work commitments. Now, this doesn't mean that it makes it any easier for you when you're seeing your partner constantly using their phone, and it can be very, very frustrating rather than them spending quality time with you. But if you are living together, for instance, and they work from home, you have to understand this could be a very likely reason as why they're on their phone. They're using their phone to earn money. Now, whether or not you feel that this should be kept within work hours, even if they work from home, and especially if they don't work from home, if they're coming home and they've been at work all day and now they're still on their phone due to work commitments, I'm not here to say whether you should be feeling comfortable with this or not. This is something which, again, could feel very annoying and frustrating to you if they've been at work all day, they come home and they're still doing work on their phone. But you must understand this might be necessary for their job. Now, whether or not that is a good excuse in your belief, whether or not this is something that they could switch off from, well, this depends on the specifics. But work demands are absolutely one of the main causes for somebody on their phone a lot of the time. But it's not the only root cause. Another possibility is escapism. Now, if your partner is going through a stressful time, if their life is stressful, whether that is work-related, family-related, personally related, your relationship related, if there is a situation where they feel they need to escape, this could be another reason that they are always on their phone. Now, this is something which we'll be getting into a little bit later in today's podcast about things that you can do to try and work through these situations, but it is important to speak of this because it is a root cause. Escapism is a major reason as why people will spend a lot of time on their phone trying to take their mindset away from the daily grind and the stresses that they feel. The next potential root cause is connection. Obviously, our phones are used very often to speak with people, not so much verbally as much nowadays, although of course that as well, but generally through messaging. Now, is your partner messaging their friends and family? Are they messaging other people that they feel they need to be connected with? Now, do you feel that this is appropriate? Do you feel that this is something that they should be doing? Is this possibly a scenario where it is showcasing that you two are no longer as connected as you could be, and therefore they're craving that connection with someone else? Maybe you've moved house, maybe you live far away from your partner's friends and family, and they just feel that they need to feel that connection by sending messages and having conversations in that way. Again, every situation is unique, and the specifics between you and your partner will be different for them compared to other people who may be listening. Everybody's situation has their own unique spin on it. But connection is, of course, one of the main reasons that people use their phone. The final possibility I'm going to be speaking about today, about what could be the root cause, about why your partner is always on the phone, is entertainment. We watch videos, we listen to music, podcasts, whatever it may be, entertainment is absolutely huge on a phone, and that is without even mentioning the gaming side of things. Now, entertainment, I would suggest, can connect with escapism or connection. These are things which we've obviously already spoke about. The escapism side is to take their mind off something which is stressful. They want to de-stress and play a game or watch a film or whatever it may be. Or potentially it's connection because they are gaming with somebody else. They're feeling that connection, that vibe through their phone. So entertainment technically could be connected to escapism or connection, but you can see there as what I would say are the root causes as why your partner is addicted to their phone. So now let's get into point number 2 and the second point of today's podcast. Please like this video if you're watching on YouTube, and if you have the new hype feature, please hype this video as well. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel to keep updated. And point number 2 is communicate your concerns without blame. So you're listening to today's podcast because you don't feel comfortable with your partner always on their phone. You feel that they're addicted to it. Now, of course, they might see this very differently to you, and I'm not here to say whether you are in the right or the wrong, or they are in the right or the wrong. But the fact you feel that they're on their phone too much, well, there's probably some level of truth to that, but you also need to consider, are you being reasonable? The reason I say this is because it's very, very important to not smother your partner during a relationship. Now, please don't get me wrong, spending quality time together is crucial, and later on in today's podcast, we'll be speaking about just that. But we do need to self-reflect, look in the mirror somewhat, and just ask ourselves the question, is this as big a problem as we're feeling right now? The reason I say this is I speak to a number of people through my audio coaching service over the years who have told me that they feel that their partner is using their phone too much. But then when I've spoke to their partner, because I can do audio coaching with both you and your partner, either simultaneously or separately, when I've spoken to a partner, they've said, no, I just use my phone for what I see as a reasonable amount of time, but my partner is becoming obsessed. They want to be with me 24/7. They're starting to smother me, and I don't feel that I can speak with anybody else. I don't feel that I can relax. If I'm not with them 24/7, they're not happy. So as we can see different perspectives here, so look in the mirror, do some self-reflection. Is this reasonable, what you are feeling? I'm not saying it's not, but I'm just saying consider whether what they're doing on their phone is reasonable or whether you are going a little bit overboard with this. I'm not saying you are, but just have a consideration on that. And if you still feel that this is a problem to you, well, you need to communicate your concerns without blame. I don't suggest you make accusations, because if you do that, you're going to make your partner feel defensive. And if they feel defensive, they're going to close off. They're not going to have the communication and the conversation that you need to try and resolve these difficulties. So if you accuse your partner, if you say this, if you say that, if you put them under pressure, they will become defensive, they will back off, they will close off, and it is not going to help. I suggest saying something such as, in your own words, I feel a bit disconnected when we don't spend enough quality time together. If you say phrases starting with, I feel, you're going to be explaining yourself, I would suggest, better than if you just start throwing out accusations, if you start an argument, if you start things on a negative footing. I don't think that is going to help. Like I said, it's going to make them run away, it's going to make them close off. Instead, we want open and honest communication. So saying something such as, I kind of feel disconnected when we don't spend enough quality time together and you always seem to be on your phone. If you word it in a way like that, you're more likely to have good dialogue with your partner, and ultimately, that's what we want. We want a good resolution to the situation. Now, if you would like advice and support about how to try and increase the chance of saving your relationship or marriage, then you may want to consider my audio coaching service, where me and you can speak one-on-one about your unique specific situation. We could even have a 3-way call if you would like us to speak with your partner simultaneously. Go to my website www.dateme.tips for more information about how I can become your coach and your teammate via my audio coaching service. Talking about your feelings can also improve your mental health. It helps prevent the buildup of negative emotions, which can lead to stress, anxiety, depression, and even physical health issues. Speak your heart to free your mind. So now let's get into point number 3 and the final point of today's podcast. If you feel that this podcast has helped you, then please consider buying me a coffee. The link to do so is in the description. And point number 3 is solutions. So this is what we're looking for, solutions to the problem. You feel that your partner is addicted to their phone. You've looked at yourself metaphorically in the mirror and you've come to a conclusion, no, I'm not in the wrong. I'm not overplaying this. They are on their phone too much. So what are the solutions? Well, the first thing to say is that you need to lead by example. You can't be doing something yourself and then not allowing your partner to do it. So if you feel that your partner is using their phone too much, make sure you're not using yours too much. It's not fair if you can use yours, but they can't use theirs. Also, make sure that you're being reasonable. If your partner, for instance, is predominantly using their phone for work, then you need to understand why they are using it for work. Ultimately, it's going to be earning money, and this money is probably going to be helping both of you. So just make sure that you don't come into this in a negative way, like I said, causing an argument potentially when there doesn't need to be one. Try to make sure that you communicate effectively in a relaxed way if possible. And lead by example, because your partner may ask you the question, are you going to be reducing your phone usage? They might say, for instance, I feel that you're using your phone just as much as me. So make sure that you have that in your mind. Are you doing that? Are you being reasonable? Have all of that sorted out in your mindset before you take that next step. Then I suggest you encourage quality time together. Quality time could be spending time relaxing, but also having time together where you're smiling, having a laugh, enjoying each other's company, and of course, being intimate. It's really, really important. The difference between platonic friends and romantic relationships is intimacy at the end of the day. So make sure that you're bringing that to the forefront of your relationship. If you're having quality time together, then they're going to be less likely to want or even able to go on their phone as much as they once did. I would then suggest that you potentially bring up the possibility of having boundaries about when you use your phone. You might say it is a tech-free zone, but please be wary, like I said, if it's a work-related situation, they might not be able to leave their phone in another room or whatever it may be. Additionally, there could be emergencies and you need to make sure that you are contactable. This is the modern world, so how you balance this is going to be very, very important. At the end of the day, there should be no real reason why there can't be some tech-free zones for at least an hour at a time in certain moments of your day. I would suggest even longer. This could be something that you can build up to and see how it improves your relationship. It's important for me to say at this stage, but one of the things I don't suggest you do is try and grab your partner's phone, try and look at what they're typing or reading or looking at, because that isn't going to help you. Sometimes people say to me, well, to build trust with others, we have each other's passcodes to get into each other's phone. We look at each other's phone. We hand each other's phone to each other to help us with trust. In my opinion, if you don't trust your partner, then you probably are not in a healthy relationship, because you shouldn't be in this position. If you can't feel that trust, how on earth can you really go on in a positive way? In my opinion, you shouldn't be looking at each other's phone for the purpose of trust. Yes, the casual situation of, hey, do you want to look at this? Or, hey, can I borrow your phone? That's absolutely fine. But you shouldn't be setting rules of, right, if you're typing something, I'm looking over your shoulder, or at the end of each day, we switch phones and scroll through to see what you've been doing. That isn't healthy. That is not going to help your relationship. If you're in this position, then there are definitely deeper things at play, and I would suggest trying to resolve those issues, because living your life with this type of concern, worry, and nervous energy is not going to help you. If you're feeling this anxious, if you're feeling this jealous, then unfortunately your relationship is going to struggle moving forward. So I don't think that making each other swap phones, looking over each other's shoulder, etc., is going to help. So when we consider phone usage, please bear that in mind.